Boys, boys, no girls, curlies. Okay, prior to pursue. See me DV Senator, in the future novel on the world over exposed Kaiju. And today we are back on the Reaction channel doing the Fat Electrician. And oh crap, dude, I freaking like. I'm pretty sure this is my first Fat Electrician reaction. I'm pretty sure this is the first Fat Electrician reaction we've done on this channel. But I'm a big fan of the Fat Electrician. Like, I'm a huge fan of his. I stumbled across his work from like Mr. Terry's channel. If you if you know Mr. Terry, he basically does like history reaction videos, like history channels, and he's like a history teacher or whatever. And basically, like, I stumbled across Nick's channel because of Mr. Terry. So huge shout out to Mr. Terry. Check out his channel. If you're like a history buff, go check out Mr. Terry. Also, like, he's freaking awesome. And yeah, the Fat Electrician. I think this guy is freaking hilarious. His personality is great. Like, from what I've seen, he's just like he's just an amazing storyteller. So I'm excited to see this. Yeah, we're doing the Winter Soldier's ODs on meth and becomes unkillable. So this story is from the Winter War, which was basically a kind of a war within World War II between the Soviet Union and Finland. And yeah, it was a crazy war. But there's all kinds of stories about it and all that stuff. But first I hop into it, I'm generally excited to see how this goes. If this is like Simo, the White Death, anything like that, it's an insane story. So I'm just excited to hop into it. Let's get into it.
Military Special Forces guys doing meth while skiing. Did I get your attention?
Yeah.
Today we're talking about Aimo Koivunen, the Finnish Special Forces soldier that took his entire unit's supply of crank and then proceeded to troll the Soviets.
How did he not die from like he took his entire unit's thing of meth? How did he not like OD and just die right there? Like that's crazy. Like that's a lot of meth. Like that's an absurd amount of meth. Like how do you just not OD and just perish right there? That's crazy.
And himself for 2 weeks about it. Before this video gets too far off the rails, we do a small group of Special Forces Finnish soldiers have just finished conducting 19. If you wanted to check them out, I'll have a link and a discount code down below. Let's get to this story. March 18th, 1944, Aimo and his friends, a small group of Special Forces Finnish soldiers, have just... March 18th, 1944...
Okay, March 18th, 1944. All right. So we're getting towards the later stages of World War II. Okay.
Aimo and his friends, a small group of Special Forces Finnish soldiers, have just finished conducting a 3-day-long ski patrol and are returning back to base when they are ambushed by an entire platoon of Soviet soldiers. They have nowhere near enough men to fight back. They have to retreat and get away. In order to do so, they go off the beaten path and attempt to blaze their own trail through unpacked snow. Aimo, as fate would have it, would be the point man, having to do the majority of the work as far as beating down the unpacked snow goes. Now, they've been out skiing for 3 days straight. Everybody's exhausted, but the level of work that Aimo is having to...
That would be brutal. Skiing for 3 days straight in freezing cold Finland. With the fears of the Soviet soldiers just be anywhere around you. That's crazy. That's Jesus. It's crazy.
To dish out is almost unbearable, and he's unable to set a pace that is going to allow them to escape. And the Soviets are catching up. So Aimo decides to take the high road, reaches into his pocket, and pulls out a bottle, and inside of that bottle is all of his and his buddy's supply of Pervitin.
Pervitin, that's like that's just meth.
Aimo had been given all of it because everybody knew that Aimo didn't care for taking Pervitin, and this meant that Aimo would keep it safe and nobody else would dip into it when they weren't supposed to. And if you don't know, Pervitin is the German...
Pervitin... Okay.
Miracle drug that came out in 1938, also known as meth.
Yeah. Nothing like good old Pervitin. Jesus. Yeah, like basically, dude, just like like the warring nations at the time, like a lot, like they would just like meth the heck out of their, drug the heck out of their soldiers, because like it helped with like, their fear and like the anxious of being in war, right? Especially like especially like, in this like late stage of World War II, like everybody was exhausted, everybody was tired of fighting, like everybody's like all anxious and like they've seen all this death and destruction and everything for years at this point. So like basically like just to get through the day or just to get through their missions, basically they're just like just drug up their soldiers. It's crazy.
And just to be clear, this isn't like Jesse Pinkman cooking it in the back of a van, putting chili powder in it. This is high-quality pharmaceutical-grade nose torque, okay? This is inhalable horsepower, and
Jesus.
this man's about to take some.
Goddamn right.
So Aimo pops off the lid and he wants to dump a single pill into his hand, which is the recommended dose. The problem is the Pervitin has been sitting in his pocket, half of it warm against his body, the other half getting cold against the outside of his jacket.
Oh, so they'll stick together?
Is now congealed into one gigantic meth nugget, and the whole nugget falls into his mitten. He's
a meth nugget. That's a word I never thought I'd ever hear. You know, that's like a good old fashioned meth nugget. That's like a big old nugget of Pervitin.
Unable to break off a singular piece because, well, he has mittens on and he doesn't have the dexterity, so he says, fuck.
I hate mittens. Or like those like thick winter gloves. Right? I hate those because like you can't grip anything. Like it's hard to grip a doorknob. It's hard to open anything. It's like what's the point of these? Like, yeah, they keep your hands warm. If you can't use your fucking hands, what's the point of having gloves on? You know? Like they're like it's 2025. We need to have like more convenient ways to like use our hands without getting frostbitten, you know? Cause like those gloves are like they're all like, you know, they're like they're like too slippery because like you can't grip it because like the cotton or whatever, whatever's not cotton, the thread, what the fuck is it called? I don't know. I can't think of the word now. What's called the cotton? The cotton muffins. The cotton mittens are like they're too slick. Like you try to grab like your doorknob, and it's like impossible to get any grip on it. So you can't really turn it. And you have like those like big bulky gloves. It's like bro, you can't grip anything. I just hate them. I hate wearing gloves. Like where I live, like we have like freezing cold winters, and I mean like freezing. Like we probably have like some of like the worst winters in the U.S. Right? So like, it's like I'm used to the cold, right? Like it still sucks. Don't get me wrong, but my body's just kind of adapted to the cold, and that's like most people around my state. Where for the most part, like we grew up around here, so it's like we're used to cold. But I'm not saying our winters are nowhere near like Russian or Finnish winters. Like our winters are bad, but I can only imagine what winters in Finland or Russia are like. Right? That's like a whole new ball game.
Bucket and eats the entire nugget of meth, which was roughly 30 pills at one
point.
Okay, fast forward.
The 30 pills, 30 Pervitin. Oh, how do you just not keel over and die? Like, there's no way his body could like. How did his body handle all that? That's crazy.
Like 45 seconds. Aimo feels incredible. He is a new man. He has gone from dragging ass to tripping balls, and he has had a life-altering revelation that he's been put on this planet to do two things and two things only, and that is to outrun the Soviets and steal catalytic converters, and those aren't even going to be invented for like another 35 years. So guess what we're doing? We're outrunning these Soviets. This man begins blazing a path through unpacked snow quicker than anybody ever has, ever. And the Soviets are just watching these guys take off like a rocket, like
they've gone to plaid.
Over
the Russian parade, they're like, what the fuck? Did anybody else see that guy? He's like the roadrunner on skis, probably. You see homie just skiing away. You see Emo, Aimo, Is it Aimo? All I hear is "Meow, meow," and you see Aimo pew, just goes on the skis. The Russians are like, what the fuck? Like, they both see that. We're like, I'm not doing it. I saw it, right? Like, we all saw it, right? We all witnessed that man on the skis just skyrocket away, right? Like, Jesus.
Over the course of the next hour, they managed to outrun the Soviets so bad that they just gave up. So they finally stopped, they regrouped, they wanted to see if anybody had been shot, they wanted to make sure everybody was doing okay before they carried on with their mission and journeyed back home. At that point, Aimo did not sit still. He is pacing, he's walking around, he's talking to himself, and that's when his buddies realized, oh boy, Aimo is higher than draft pussy on a fucking extension ladder.
What?
We gotta do something. So they decide it's probably a good idea to take away all of his ammunition and his knife so he doesn't hurt himself or somebody else. So they take the ammo away from him, they turn around, they go to put it in somebody else's backpack so they can carry it, turn back around, Aimo is fucking gone.
Oh.
Fast forward an unspecified amount of time later, and Aimo wakes up, looks around, has no idea where he is. You see, Aimo had blacked out. And when I say blacked out, I don't mean he laid down and fell asleep. I mean he proceeded to ski 62 miles in a random direction.
62 miles. In a single direction, non-stop. Holy sh! That's not, dude. That's crazy. On skis. This is a snowmobile. This isn't some kind of vehicle. He was on skis and he was just hauling ass around like the woodlands of like Finland. And oh Jesus. All right.
And then laid down and fell asleep.
Makes
sense.
sense.
He's now just waking up, realizing that he has no recollection of which direction he went or came from, and he has no...
Couldn't he just backtrack from his like tracks? Unless it was like snowing, and the snow, like, he was like out for a couple hours, maybe the snow covered up his tracks. Because like skis leave tracks. Like he could just like backtrack using his trail, right? They left. It was like snowing, and then maybe it covered up his tracks. It's oh shit, right? But there have been like some. I guess he was kind of like tripping out on meth, on like what was it, 30 pills of Pervitin? Jesus, that's insane. How the fact that this guy survived the initial taking all those drugs is insane. But yeah, like, you would think there'd be some kind of remnants, right? Like maybe like you use like the way because like his body. Because I think if he like if he just like fell asleep on the ground, right? He probably could have like found like the remnants, like hey, like how unless I don't know. There's just a lot of missing information here. But yeah, I mean, push you in the woodlands, so it is really easy to get, turned around and lost in the woods. So yeah, but you're tripping balls, and I'm assuming it's snowing too, so his tracks are covered up probably.
No idea where he is. At this point, a Soviet soldier hops out from behind a tree and begins shooting at Aimo. Aimo panics, gets to his feet, grabs his gun, lifts it, fires at the Soviet soldier. Click. Fuck.
No
his
ammo.
friends had taken all of his ammunition. So he grabs his empty gun and throws it at the Soviet soldier. It hits him and he explodes into a pile of snow. Aimo, what the fuck? Looks up. Oh, it was just a tree branch covered in snow.
So he's tripping so hard, he's hallucinating Russian soldiers. Okay. Yeah, I don't think that's normal. I don't think that's normal. Like if you look out and you see a Soviet soldier pointing a gun at you, and it turns out to be a branch or a tree covered with snow, like that's a bit of a problem, homie.
The whole time, he is now hallucinating. So, not really knowing what else to do, he straps his skis back on and proceeds to ski around looking for his friends or anything, really. And after an hour or two, thank God, he sees his friend's camp off in the distance.
Oh, good.
And they have a fire going. It's all going to be okay.
Watch me the Soviets. Watch it be the Soviets. He's gonna enter that camp. Like, hey guys, I'm sorry, I got, I kind of want to, but dude, he's 60 miles out. There's noise. Unless it's like another unit, right? But he went like 60 miles in one direction. Like he's so far away from his like unit or whatever. How much more I bet this is like either another unit who's confused as fuck about what's happening with Aimo, or this is like these like the Russians and he goes into like a Russian camp, and the Russians are like looking at him, and he looks at them, and he's looking at them, or they're looking at him, he's looking at them, and there's a point each other, like the Spider-Man meme, you know, got point each other, like you, hey, it's you, type of thing, you know.
We're good. He's gonna be saved. So Aimo takes off skiing towards the camp. He's skiing. Aimo skis right into the middle of the camp. Cool guy power slide. Psh. Friends, did you miss me? He looks at his buddies. His buddies look at him. He looks at his buddies. Those aren't his buddies. Those are the Soviets.
Oh.
Shit. Time to go. Aimo takes off again. The Soviets attempt to chase him for a little bit, but I mean, the man is basically tweakers on ice right now. You've got no chance at actually catching him. So Aimo then...
I'm not gonna lie though, tweakers on ice would be freaking hilarious to watch. Like I'm not a huge fan of like ice skiing, or you know like you know, shows on ice or whatever. But seeing tweakers on ice, or seeing like potheads on ice, or just anything like that would be the funniest shit ever, probably. Just people drugged out of their minds on ice would be fucking hilarious. But yeah, I kind of figured, because Nick said he was like 60, like he skied 60 miles roughly away from his unit. So like, there's no way he, like, within like, you know, a couple of minutes he's gonna ski back to like where his buddies are at. So he was either gonna find other units or find the Russians, and he ended up finding the Soviets. So, you know, good job, Imo. The fact that he got out alive is crazy.
then proceeds to ski until he's tired, and then he lays down and...
Because usually, like, not always, obviously, but a lot of times, like the Russians would just like the moment they saw Finnish soldiers or Germans or whatever, right? They would instantly just start firing to kill. Like, obviously not all the time. I'm not gonna say it's like it's an every time occurrence, but a lot of times it was basically like, yeah, like you saw him, he just fired to kill, you know. And like when you compare like the Finnish with the Russians, the Finns didn't have numbers that the Russians have, right? So for every casualty that the Finns took, it meant a lot more in terms of like strategy and that type of stuff, compared to the Russians, who can just replace a couple of lost soldiers. But for the Finnish didn't have that luxury. Like, they only have so many men that they can spare, right? Like what was the population of Finland? Male, population. So during World War II, the male population in Finland was significantly impacted, with almost 71,000 Finnish soldiers dying in combat and 203,000 being wounded. Finland has a population of over 5.6 million. An average population that's okay. Okay. According to census population, country, okay. Oh, population data of Finland. Okay, here we go. Oh shit, it's like an actual article. I didn't actually want to download that. I was hoping it was just a fucking article. Oh, it was a PDF. Okay, well. Yeah, okay. So, you know, graphics might be a bit. Ability rates. Okay. 1944. The population is about 3.7 million. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. I don't think they really have anything like between male and female. But yeah, like, it was pretty damn bad. Oops, let me go back to the actual video.
And goes to sleep just
So, like, yeah, basically, like, Soviet soldiers would just aim to kill of any Finnish soldiers they saw. Like obviously taking them prisoners would. They obviously took prisoners too, because information is key. But like a kill, like a kill for the Finns, or a kill against a Finnish soldier, was so huge because like they didn't have the numbers, like I said, that the Soviets had.
on the ground outside. He wakes up, it's dark out, he can't see anything, and he realizes, hey, I'm hungry. So he gets a fire going, and then he walks around, grabbing some pine buds and leaves and whatever else he can find, sticking it in his canteen cup, grabs some snow, puts that in there, cooks it over the fire, and kind of mashes it all together in this, like, pine bud stew gruel type thing. He eats it, he thinks it's fucking delicious, one of the best meals he's ever had, because, well, meth.
Yeah, because he's met out of his mind, man. He's just hungry, man. That's all he cares about. He's met out of his mind. He's like hallucinating. He doesn't care. He just has to have something to put in his body to eat.
Then he goes back to bed. Wakes back up, still full of energy. Decides that he's gonna go look for his buddies more. He skis around. He skis and he skis all day long. And then he finds a cabin. He walks up to the cabin, grabs a...
How long would this like affect him? Like 30 pills of Pervitin. The fact that he's still alive, the fact that he survives the initial, like I said before, the fact that he survived the initial dosage is mind-boggling. Like, I'm pretty sure that would be fatal to most people. So the fact that he survived that is just insane. But, like, I don't understand, man. That's crazy. Like, how long would how long would he be effective by the I don't know. I'm not really a drug person, so I'm not sure what the proper terminology is. How long would he be? Let's call it high. How long would it be like high? Yeah, I know it's probably I know it's not probably the same thing, but we're gonna use the word high because that's the only thing I can think of. Like I said, I'm not a drug person. I don't know what the proper terminologies are for drugs, or what the proper terminology would be for like, the effects of drugs. So we'll use the term high, right? How long would he be high on Pervitin before it finally wore off? Like, because he's been gone for like 2 or 3 days now, right? At least. It's like, and he's still tweaking out? Like, that's crazy.
doorknob. It's real. It's not a hallucination. So, next thing, he strips all the copper out of it. No, I'm just kidding. He opens the door.
Could you imagine? Dude, that'd be some funny shit. He just strips the copper out. Dude, that'd be fucking great.
Because it's unlocked. Because this is a tradition in this part of the world where there's...
Oh yeah, in Finland. Like, again, for like hunting cabins and that type of stuff. You're supposed to like, keep it. It's more courtesy to keep them unlocked if you're not using them, because like it's freezing cold in Finland and Russia and that type of stuff, right? And I think they do it in some parts of Canada too. Where if you have like a hunting cabin or whatever, you're basically supposed to like it's courtesy to keep your door unlocked in case somebody needs to get in there and use it. Because snowstorms and blizzards and freezing cold weather that can be fatal or very common. So like it's like a courtesy to keep it unlocked. And so like if people need to, they can like go in and get warmed up, right? Like, so yeah, it can't make sense.
You know, people could freeze to death. You
True.
just leave the cabin unlocked in case somebody is in Aimo's situation. You don't want them to freeze to death. So
taking 30 pills of Pervitin and been tweaking out for the last 3 or 4 days, like 2 or 3 days. Like, yeah, you know, I'm sure it's very common.
Aimo goes inside, he gets a fire going. Now, because of the meth, Aimo elects to light the fire in the middle of the cabin on the floor.
What the fuck? I don't care how bad you're tweaking. Bro, was there at least, if there was a fireplace in the cabin, when it comes, like, I get he's tweaking, and I don't know how tweaking affects the person's brain. Like, obviously, you have hallucinations, that type of shit, right? But like you would think, okay, there's a fireplace here. I should probably keep the fire in the fireplace, right? Not take sticks and wood and put a fire in the middle of the fucking wood cabin. That's that's dumb. That's very dumb.
Rather than in the fireplace because, you know,
Meth.
obviously. He then proceeds to go to bed, and all throughout the night, the fire keeps getting hotter and hotter, so he keeps like...
Yeah, no, yeah, well, don't. The fire's spreading. He's in a wood cabin. He started a fire in the middle of a wood cabin on a wooden floor, presumably. Like, what do you think was gonna? I get he's tweaking, right? And people are probably like, "Oh, well, he's not in the right state of mind." I get that, but like, meth.
like shimmying away from it and shimmying away from it over and over again. And then finally his back hits a wall and he wakes up and realizes that the entire cabin is on fire. So he's like, shit. So he gets up, goes outside the cabin.
Dude, that cabin owner's gonna be pissed. When he comes back to go, I don't know, deer hunting or whatever. Deer hunting, whatever they hunt in Finland, right? Moose hunting, I don't know. Right, what is in Finland? Hold on. What? Okay, I cannot spell apparently. It's in Finland. Mountain hare, moose, white-tailed deer. Okay, yeah, so there are moose and white-tailed deer in Finland. Okay. Like imagine like you're coming out, you're coming out, right? You're coming to go hunt like some mountain hare, moose, or some like white-tailed deer. And you're like, oh man, can't wait to have this nice weekend of the can't wait to have this nice hunting trip this weekend. You get to your campsite, your cabin, whatever, and it's burnt to the fucking ground. It's like, bruh. Man, whoever owned that cabin is pretty pissed when he gets there.
Cabin, puts his back against the wall of the outside of the cabin, and then goes back to sleep. Meth.
Jesus.
So Aimo wakes up again. It's dark out. He hears growling off in the distance as there's a pair of yellow eyes staring at him. He looks behind him, the cabin completely burnt to a crisp as these eyes keep getting closer and closer, and there's growling, and out of the shadows leaps Hugh Jackman. Wait, what the fuck?
Hugh Jackman?
Sorry, Wolverine, not the Wolverine. Wolverine,
okay.
still,
Okay.
I mean, it's better, but not a...
Okay, I can see how I can see how the two of those get, confused. The Wolverine, Wolverine, same thing, basically.
Lot
Continue.
better. Okay, this thing is 65 pounds of teeth, claws, fur, and bad attitude. And this thing will absolutely kill Aimo if Aimo lets it. Aimo is now in a fight for his life, so he pulls out his knife and begins fighting a fucking Wolverine while tripping out on meth.
Dude, Wolverines are vicious. Like, if there's like one animal I would never ever want to deal with, it's a Wolverine. Wolverine and honey badgers are like, they look cute, right? They look cute and fluffy and like, oh, they're so cute. But no, they will rip your face off. Like honey badgers and Wolverines will kick your ass. Like they will literally fight animals. They're like 3 or 4 times their size. Like they don't care. They'll fight anything, and they will win a lot. They'll win oftentimes too. Like there are literally videos out there of like Wolverines fighting bears and wolves and coming out on top. Same with honey badgers too. Like they'll attack like pythons, depending on the locations, right? They'll attack snakes. They'll fight wolves and bears. I'm pretty sure there's like videos out there of like a honey badger like attacking a gator and winning. It's crazy.
He is kicking and punching and stabbing this Wolverine, and he finally gets on top of the Wolverine as he straddles it and plunges his knife into the Wolverine's chest as the life from the Wolverine leaves its body and it falls limp to the ground. At that point, Aimo remembers,
on the bright side, you might have turned that Wolverine into like a really cool hat, for a hat or whatever.
Wait a minute, my friends took my knife.
Oh.
He looks at his knife. That's not his knife. That's his compass.
Jesus.
And now it's broke. Shit. I mean, also kind of cool though, because he just killed a Wolverine with a compass. He looks down at the dead Wolverine. He's sitting on top of a log. He had hallucinated the entire thing.
Aimo, bro, homie, my guy, Jesus. How do you... What? So that wasn't even real. There was no Wolverine there. He was hallucinating. It was all in his head. It was not real. Like, that's insane. Like, cause he said he heard growling. So was that part of hallucination too? Because if that's like part of like if the growling was part of the hallucination, that's insane. If it wasn't part of the hallucination, he should still be very, very cautious because there's probably another animal out there. But I'm gonna assume it's part of the hallucination here, right? Not only that, he broke like one of his last remaining tools he had to get back to his comrade, to like his comrades, his friends, his unit, whatever. And he broke his compass. His only way to tell which direction he's going, or having any inkling of where he's at. Like that's, bruh. How?
Again. Meth.
Jesus.
So Aimo gets up off the log that he just killed, looking around, not knowing what to do. In the darkness of night, he sees a fire off in the distance. So he straps on his skis and starts making his way towards that fire. And he's skiing, and he's skiing, and he's skiing.
Is that a good idea? Is that really a good idea? Okay, hold on a second. So the first time you skied to a fire, you went right into a Soviet camp. The second time, it was self-inflicted. You lit a fire into a wooden cabin outside of the fireplace and burnt the entire cabin down. Your only shelter you had. Jeez, Imo, this seems like a bad idea. You don't even know where you're at. You don't have your compass anymore. You have no idea what direction you're going. This could literally be anybody.
All night long, and he's going, and he's going, and this fucking fire is not getting any closer. It's almost like it's running from him, and he keeps going towards it, longer and longer, and finally, dawn breaks, and Aimo realizes that he's been chasing the North Star, thinking it was a fire for like the last 8 hours.
He spent 8 hours chasing the Northern Star? My guy! Good job.
Because meth. So now it's morning. Aimo still has no idea where he's going, so it's like, well, better find some copper. I mean, my friends. He's got to find his friends, so he just...
Copper and then his friends. Dude, permanent is one hell of a drug. If it can make you hallucinate a Soviet soldier, if it makes you want to put a fire in the middle of a wooden cabin, if it makes you hear growling and think you're getting attacked by a badger, or Wolverine, whatever, right? If it can make you hallucinate thinking you're seeing a fire, but it's a Northern Star, like permanent is one hell of a drug. God damn.
Starts skiing around looking for any signs of human life at this point. He's skiing and he's skiing and he's going and he's going. And he finally comes across this abandoned German forward observational base. And he starts making his way towards it. The problem with this was, whenever the Germans abandoned something in World War II,
They booby trapped it. The Germans would, basically, if the Germans got an outpost, or they built a fort, or they took over, like, an area, after they left, they would booby trap it. They would set like mines everywhere. They would like set explosives everywhere. They would set like booby traps all over the place.
They usually booby trapped it.
Yeah.
And that's what happened here because Aimo skis over a landmine.
God.
Blowing up his foot, throwing him to the ground.
Jesus.
And Aimo's like, that's it. I'm dead for sure. There's no way I'm making it out of this.
But the meth's not let him die, right? The meth is gonna keep his body going. Like it's not gonna let him die. Like he's like, all right, I'm ready to die. My leg is gone or my foot's gone, whatever. I hit a landmine. You know, I'm ready. I'm ready to give up and die. But because he's so tweaked up, he's just like it's not gonna let him. It's not gonna let his like brain and body just kick the bucket, right?
And he just lays there. We have no idea how long he laid there. He said he laid there for a week, but that dude's high as a kite on meth. He could have been there for 45 minutes. We have no idea. But he lays there and he lays there, literally too high to die, and then he just gets bored and he's like, fine, I'll live. And he gets up and he starts walking back towards the base again. He makes it all the way to the building.
walk, bro. Didn't he like blow up like one of his feet? Like, isn't like one of his like foot just completely like blown to all hell? He stepped on a land, or I guess he skied over a landmine. Like, bro, isn't his foot like messed up?
You know, grabs a doorknob. Well, at least the base is real. The landmine sure as fuck was real. The base better be real. The base is real, grabs a doorknob, opens the door. That's booby trap 2.
Of course
blows
it
up
is.
in his face, yeets him 30 yards the other
Jesus.
direction as he lands flat on his back with the door on top of him. And he's like, okay, now for sure I'm gonna die. There's no way I'm making it out of this. I'm done. And he just lays there. He completely gives up and he just waits for death to come get him. And he's laying there, and 1 day passes, and 2 days pass, and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, 7 days pass, and he's still just laying.
Over a week has passed. It's been like 8 or 9 days, I think now. And he's still tweaking out. Jesus.
In there like, this is taking forever. And then finally, some Finnish soldiers come up and are like, hey, do you want some help? And he's like, holy shit, yeah, that'd be great. So the Finnish guys start making their way over to him, and then one of them steps on a fucking landmine.
God
and then
damn.
the other 2 Finnish soldiers are like, well, we can only save one of you, and we're gonna save the guy that we came with. If we get this guy saved, we'll let him know to come back and save you later. Peace, goodbye. And just left him laying there again.
Bruh.
So he thinks to himself, maybe if I can survive a couple more days, I might actually make it out of this. So he starts trying. He gets a little fire going next to him. He starts melting snow in his canteen cup to drink water to hydrate. A Siberian Jay at some point lands next to him, and he takes a ski pole and smacks it to death, pulls the Siberian Jay over to him, grabs it, and just Ozzy Osbournes this bird raw, just eats the whole thing, trying to get any amount of calories inside of it.
Jesus.
And then, after 3 more days, they come back and they save Aimo, and he completely blacks out.
Okay.
Aimo comes to, he's in a Finnish hospital, where he's informed that he has been missing for 14 days, and they found
2 weeks. He's been gone, high as a kite, for 2 weeks. Jesus. Bro.
found him 250 miles from where he originally
250 miles. Jesus. That, on skis, mind you. On skis and walking. He literally, he had no vehicle, no snowmobile, nothing. He was using skis and walking. He got 250 miles away in 14 days. Just tweaked out of his mind.
departed as friends. He now weighs a mere 95 pounds and has a resting heart rate currently of 200 beats per minute.
Fuck.
14 days after taking all of the meth. So Aimo proceeds to do the logical thing, makes a full recovery, and lives a long, happy life until passing away at 71 in 1989 because he's Finnish and that's just how they get down. Yeah, if you're not picking up what I'm trying to tell you, this man actually may have seen Star Wars, the original series, in theater. Okay?
Jesus.
Could you imagine him taking his kids to the movie theater just being like, we didn't call it the Force back in my day.
We call it Pervidin. Yeah.
Seriously, it's pretty funny that the only 2 Finnish soldiers that I know off the top of my head are Aimo and Simo Hoya. Simo, deadliest sniper of all time, over 500 kills. Aimo, the most unkillable tweaker ever. Don't worry, this story keeps going. Now, Aimo's son was interviewed about his dad, to which he said that his dad never really talked much about his time in service, but there was one point later in Aimo's life when he decided to write in to a local newspaper that was having a competition for who had the best craziest military story ever. And he wrote his story down, mailed it in, and he was informed, congratulations, you've got second. How the fuck did this guy get second place with this story? Did Simo Hoya enter the same competition? Because that's the only...
I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if Simo, or maybe like a descendant of Simo, or something, like, right down, and that's the reason why. Because I'm gonna assume this competition was for just Finnish soldiers. I'm gonna assume it was from like just this isn't Finland, but who knows, right? So I'm just gonna assume that the White Death was had his story entered into, and they gave him first, and then Aimo got second or whatever.
Logical explanation other than that there was some Karen on the judge board that was like, I don't know, this story seems a little too unbelievable if you ask me. Bah. To which my argument is, Look at him. Do you think that guy's lying about this story?
No,
Do
not
you
all.
really? Because Homeboy looks like he's about to hit a T intersection and go straight, okay? That's not hair product. He just moves that fucking fast now. There's no way he's lying about this story, and I'm legitimately mad he didn't win this fucking competition for some reason. Okay, this story is getting out of hand. We need to end this video. I guess, in conclusion, it's important to bear in mind with how incredible this story is that Aimo is the exception and not the example. You should not do drugs because they are in fact bad for you, okay? Don't do drugs. Also, don't fight the Finnish in winter in Finland where they have home field advantage.
True.
It's just a bad time. Anyways, thank you for watching.
How much you want to bet the only reason he died was because the president, after like, I don't know, four and a half decades after the war, right? He finally, like, the president finally just kicked off, like, just, and, like, you know, ended. Like, he's been tweaking for, like, the last, like, 4 decades of his life. Okay, that's a bit of an exaggeration. Well, maybe. They said he said what, he died, like, he was, like, 70 or something like that. But, like, the reason, like after, like, 4 decades, the president probably, like, finally, like, he finally stopped tweaking. So that, then he finally just died. It's like, bruh. Death was finally like, okay, we finally take him. This is insane, though.
Watching best way to support the channel is go buy some merch.
Alright, that's the end of the video. Okay. But if you guys enjoyed the okay, well, bro, I don't even know how do you survive 30 pills of Pervitin in one thing? Like, in one bro, that's crazy. This man is built different. If you guys enjoyed the content, the comment, hit the like button. New, stick around. Do me a subscribe and join the Sector Mafia. And make sure you check out the Fat Electrician. I'll put the link to his channel scratch below. And make sure you check out the video they react to if you want to watch it without my commentary. I'll put the link to the video in the scratch below. Go check it out. Leave a like. Go subscribe to his channel. He's awesome. He's hilarious. Yeah. Anyways, that's our.
Go build on myself so I can truly build. Hey.